Hi there guys, welcome back to this channel based on psychology, psychotherapy and mental health awareness. My name is Tamara and I'm a psychologist here in South Africa. Today's video is based on a cool technique that you can use to integrate into your life, to improve in all areas of your life, even if you are in or not in a psychotherapy process, counseling or coaching, where you're going to work on yourself on a one-to-one basis. This you can use in everyday life to get through things, to make better decisions, clear decisions, and get better mental clarity. So of course we're looking at journaling. Most journaling is looking at a conscientious, mindful approach, where you are conscious and aware of what you're writing. In this approach, it's not so much a conscientious dream analysis technique or a technique where you're looking at patterns in your thinking and in your writing, but rather a brain dumping technique. What that means is when you are in a very dysregulated state, as in when your body and mind feels like your nervous system is out of sync, when you feel overwhelmed with thoughts and feelings, you won't be able to concentrate and get through your day if you're feeling all these things, because it's dominating your thinking. And what do we know about dominating thinking is it ruminates. Your body and your mind will continue to perpetuate that until you've resolved it. So why not get it out the way and deal with it? So what are we going to do? We're going to be doing that brain dumping onto a journal. You can have any type of journal. You can have a small one. You can get one from Typer, PNA, CNA, or anything in your local vicinity to get something that will work for you, or an A4 size notebook to help you through this. In this, you're going to wake up. It's very good first thing in the morning when the brain is more plastic, as we spoke about in a previous video on neuroplasticity. And you're going to dump all of the things that you are thinking and feeling, all of your fears, your angers, your resentments. I want you to write it all on the page. Get it all out, everything. So, example, I am angry at this person. I feel resentful towards this. I am fearful of this. All of the things that are dominating you, and you're going to dump it onto the page. Dump it to such an extent that you're not rereading what you're writing. You don't have another thought in your head of how can I write this? How can I think this? It is just a clearing. Some people have told me that this has helped them feel like they're disk defragging, like a clearing out. It's like cleaning the engine, getting all of these things out in such a way that you start to feel clear. You're going to feel it within minutes. As you're writing all these things out and writing all of these negative feelings, fear-based, anger-based, anxiety-based, worry-based, you're going to feel your nervous system start to recalibrate, come back to center. It's such an incredible thing to start to feel that way when you feel so weighed down by all of these things that you cannot concentrate, you can't function properly through the day. So you're going to do this to the extent that your hand doesn't need to write anymore. You're going to feel an internal sense of peace start to come over you. Some people ask, and I know for those of you that are very practical, more rational, and they need more of a guideline, how many pages do we write? That's what they'll ask. Is instead of having a generic to help guide you, is rather think how you feel within yourself. Is how do you feel as you write out the pages? Are you starting to feel better? Are you starting to feel clearer? Some days you're going to write more than other days. Some days you might write half a page, other days you write 5 pages, 10 pages. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no judgment in this process. You're just going to get everything out to such an extent that you start to feel relief. It's amazing what this can do in your own handwriting, in your own words, with paper and pen. It's such an incredible process to be able to do that. So as you near the end of this relieving process where you start to feel, okay, I'm starting to recalibrate, I'm starting to feel clearer, and a lot of people say they feel quite relaxed in this process, then you can start to take the page. Remember, you're not going to read it or analyze it or judge yourself for what you write, especially people prone to anxiety and a lot of guilt, where they tend to judge what they're saying, especially if they're not used to using their voice a lot, because they're not, for whatever reason, they feel oppressed in some way. You're not reading this. You're going to take that piece of paper out and you're going to destroy it. You can destroy it by either burning it, tearing it up, or throwing it away. But your eyes and your hands need to see that this thing that you've written is discarded. It's removed from you. There was a study once done with university students that were very anxious to write tests, and they used a control group and an experimental group. And the experimental group that did this type of technique performed better. They managed the anxiety better when they saw themselves throw the piece of paper into the garbage can, because they started to see the detachment from their fears and worries dissipate from them. All right, so after you've done that, you've burnt it, torn it up, you've thrown it away in the trash can. After you've done that comes the next step. So you have to imagine that you've now cleaned the engine. You've cleaned the engine. So now we've got more of clarity, or a blank slate, to be able to channel reprogramming thoughts into ourselves. Remember the neuroplasticity? We are trying to retrain the brain with more healthy self-talk, healthy thoughts that are going to help guide us towards better self-love and better relationships and better productivity. What are we going to do? We're going to move into this amazing realm of meditation. Now, the studies, the neurological studies that are out there that prove the beneficial results of meditating every single day into your life are countless. There's so much research to back this. What do we need to do is, I wouldn't advise that at first you sit by yourself, if you're not used to this, and just still your mind, or repeat a mantra to yourself or an affirmation, if you're not yet used to this. If you're not used to stilling your mind and practicing self-discipline to become interoceptive, which is blocking out the external distractions. So I would guide you to rather go onto the many YouTube channels of meditation, where you can help yourself to look at other meditations where they're guided, and they could be different ones on every single day or every week, where you could be looking at perhaps gratitude or inner peace, or letting go of resentment or anger or guilt, shame, any of those things. I will put a few examples below in the description below, but you can choose anything that your heart fancies. So if people ask, okay, how many minutes should we be doing this? We need to look at neurological or neuroscience to back this. And the magic number you need to aim for is between 15 and 20 minutes per day. That will give you the dopamine hit. So when you have dopamine and you've dripped it in the form of meditation, it's going to help you hit that focus and concentration, a sense of well-being and calm is going to help you. So remember, we clean the engine with this writing technique of removing all the things that are currently dominating your thinking. And now we're going to channel the brain with more meditation. So meditation is excellent to drip that dopamine, still the mind, channel it to become more interoceptive, and to block out the external distractions. And also all of those things are going to help you to start to teach the brain to think in a more linear way, instead of all these dominating forces that are from the environment. So between 15 and 20 minutes, latest neuroscience has shown that we need about 17 minutes of meditation a day to get those benefits. I will speak about that in another video around attention and focus, which we'll be looking at to help you capitalize on that. But for now, we're trying to regulate. So when you are meditating and you are trying to block out all these distractions, you can sit or lie down in a place that you feel comfortable, and when you've put boundaries around your family members and loved ones, that this is something that you need to do for yourself, a sense of self-care. And you can put earphones in if that helps you to block out things, and just listen to the guided meditation. Apart from all these amazing neurological benefits that I'm speaking about, what this helps with psychologically is it helps to channel a new voice inside your mind, and to challenge an internal critic that a lot of people have, that internal judge of the one that says things like, you're only good enough if, or you'll only be loved if. And it starts to look at you are acceptable just as you are right here, right now, and channel in more into a present focused narrative instead of the future or the past. We're going to look at the here and now. When we're looking at the here and now, and you've cleared out all of this clutter, and you are focusing on what this voice is telling you to do for this moment, amazing things can happen. Because what have you done? You've channeled something into a self-care routine for yourself that you can then focus on the important things in life. Because if you tell your mind, stop worrying, it's just going to carry on worrying. So rather let yourself let it all out in this journaling technique. So get all the worries out. Allow the mind to go where it wants to go. But then after that, discipline the mind to start to be still, to start to look at life in a different way. With enough practice, if you get this into a habit, it's amazing what things can happen, because the more you entrench this into your habitual circadian rhythm, so as soon as you wake up or when you go to sleep, what happens is when your body gets very stressed or things get thrown out of course or you haven't slept well, the mind goes back to habitual patterns of behavior. So if you have this in place, then it's going to go back to, okay, I need to do this. Instead of, for example, going to sugary foods or junk foods or going into behaviors that are self-destructive. Rather focus on things that are helping you. The more discipline you put in this and try to do this, the more your life will change. Again, this is not a substitution for psychotherapy, which within a very good therapeutic relationship is life-changing in and of itself, but this will help you to regulate your emotions and your thoughts, live through life with more clarity and focus and emotional well-being, especially if you do this on a regular basis. Remember that some days you may be able to dedicate more time and other days you won't, as long as you stick to this regularly. Some people may, when they're very dysregulated, when there's a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings going on inside them, they may need to do this more than once a day. Like at times you may think, I can't go to sleep because I'm so worried about something. That is the right time to do this. So in the beginning, when you've got a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings to think about, do this morning and do this at nighttime and see how things go. I want to hear all of your thoughts about this and how this works. Give it a few days, but see within minutes as you start to feel clearer, as you start to feel more centered, and that you can actually focus on the rest of the day. And again, we get dopamine hits the more we accomplish in the day, especially small tasks. So you're going to feel a sense of well-being and peace as you start to work through this. Stay tuned. On Friday, I will be doing the next book recommendation for mental health, and this time it will be on nonfiction. See you all then.